Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I saw something come through my news feed this afternoon that I realized I'm going to have to cover because this is just too juicy for me not to. But apparently George Leeman, and I will flip his statement in here, said earlier this morning that he personally knows someone in the USAPL who he has administered supplementation to their glutes, which means he's injected them, who holds records in the USAPL. That is the IPF's American affiliate. That's the United States affiliate for the IPF. That means they go through IPF drug testing. Said, and they joke and laugh all the time about how easy it is to get through drug testing, how people actually think people are drug-free. The drug testing means that they're drug-free. And he also said that, why do you think the tested records are so close to the untested records? And sometimes the tested guys hold the world record. Let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing. Let's do a little bit of crafting, and let's talk about this. Because this is kind of vindicates a lot of what I say. And I've been saying this for a long time, pretty much since I started on here, on YouTube, that look, everybody's on gear. Like, even guys who are tested, whatever they compete in, if they compete in anything at a serious level, they're probably on drugs, all right? And that's just the real world. And until I really got on the modern internet and the whole fitness community online, I've always thought that everyone just knew all this. Because of my own life experiences going back to this stuff 2 decades, someone who's even helped college athletes pass their drug tests. And as you guys saw from some of my Trenbolone video, if you guys recall, I might link that video here. My Trenbolone video, you guys probably realize I know quite a bit about the chemistry of this stuff. I did go into some pretty in-depth detail there. So, that being said, I've always just thought that no one actually believed any of this, that most people at least have been training for a while and been around competitive endeavors understood that it was easy to cheat on drug tests. Even things like the IPF is not that hard. It really isn't. And anybody who's at a serious level probably is on drugs because they're competing against guys who are on drugs. And I mean, genetics can help you a lot, but when you're competing against other guys with great genetics and great work ethics who are using drugs on top of it, your genetics and work ethic can't compete with their drugs on top of their genetics and work ethic. It just doesn't work that way. That's just not how the real world works. What are you going to out-train someone who takes drugs that help them recover and give them motivation to train harder when they have just as good a talent as you do? I don't think so. What world do people live in where they think that's possible? But here's the thing. George Leeman, of all people, has said this. This is somebody who people are going to consider to be pretty credible. Easily one of the strongest men in the world, very well known on YouTube, very well known in the fitness community online, and bodybuilding, powerlifting, strongman, everything else. He has come forward and said this and joked about it. And that's the reality of it, guys. That is the reality of it. All you guys talk about all your natty heroes online who are competing and stuff and who've been drug tested as some sort of proof. Sorry guys, it's not that hard. And I've been saying this for years, and now George Leeman comes out and says the exact same thing I've been saying. It's a joke to these guys. Now, publicly, it's not publicly. They want to sue people for accusing their own gear. They want to scream at them, call them scumbags, call them lazy, ad hominem attacks, anything to deflect away from the fact that their drug testing just isn't as stringent as they would like to pretend that it is. And that nobody's drug testing is as stringent as they'd like to pretend it is, but let alone amateur sports where you're not making billions of dollars. All right. There's not money available to do stringent testing. They don't have $1 billion budget for drug testing. The Olympics spends $4 billion every Olympic Games, by the way. That's what their drug testing budget is, and they can still cheat all the way through that. Plenty of people have proved it. So they've got a $4 billion drug testing budget. None of these other little rinky-dink divisions, even the IPF, doesn't have millions, let alone billions, to throw away on drug testing. Think they're going to catch anybody who doesn't want to get caught? The only people they catch are people who are brain-dead morons who can't break out a pocket calculator and do math. So yeah, and when I say all of them are on drugs, everyone's on drugs. The majority, I don't mean literally everyone. I hope people don't think I mean literally everyone competing in tested stuff. But the guys who are winning, even in these amateur things, bodybuilding, powerlifting, whatever, 90% chance they are. But that doesn't mean there's not 1 in 10 of them up there who isn't. But when you get to the very top, the very best, the guys winning up at the top levels, they're all on. All of them. And it's because they can't win without drugs, because the drug testing isn't stringent enough to catch anybody who doesn't want to get caught. Anyone who can do basic math, just like George and this guy laughing about how easy it is, anyone who takes the time to learn how to pass the drug testing is going to pass. And since you're competing against 20 other guys working just as hard as you, just as gifted as you on drugs, you're not going to win without them. That's the real world. And again, they make this big show about it, and then everyone talks about cheating. I mean, what sort of naive world do people live in to where you even care anymore? Honestly, everybody up there is cheating. It's all cheaters cheating against other cheaters. Do you really care? Does it really matter at a certain point? Everyone gets so indignant about it, and this righteous indignation. Oh, they're scumbags. They're evil because they're cheating. You know what? They're all cheating. Your favorite guy who he's beating or is beating him, the person you're talking about, is a cheater too. Guess what? That's just the real world, and people act so indignant about it, and you see them do it, and they get on social media, and it's like they're all cheaters. You don't get to where they're at in these competitive endeavors without using drugs. They're cheating, and so what? Who fucking cares? At the end of the day, why does anyone even care? The only reason people hold on to this stuff is because they want to be sold a pipe dream that it's possible to be the best without a little bit of help. That people get there purely through their own work ethic, not synthetically enhanced work ethic. Because remember, you can inject motivation. You can inject recovery, you can inject motivation, and you can inject work capacity. That means your natural efforts really mean fuck all. They really don't matter because other people can out-inject you and out-drive you because they'll work harder because they're synthetically enhancing their brain's desire to do so. I mean, at a certain point, you have to laugh at these ideas. And why do we push all of this? Because we've been taught that it's morally pure for people to not use performance-enhancing drugs. Why do we do that? Because that was our fight with the Russians, that they were cheating and we weren't, even though we were cheating too back then in the Olympics in the United States, and that's what evil communist countries do. And so therefore it became a social, moral issue, an issue of purity and morality against the evil communists. And now that the Cold War is over, we have still continued that same public campaign because we started it decades ago, so why change a good thing? It's interesting. It keeps news stories flowing when they catch someone every now and then. And so they talk about it because, again, it's been a big topic for generations now, and it's a big evil thing that they can point out. And then all these people feel indignant about it, and the truth is these guys are all trying to win. They're all going to do whatever it takes to win. All of your heroes are going to do whatever the fuck it takes to win. All right, that's what champions do. You're like, well, they don't cheat. Yeah, they fucking do. They do. Let me rephrase this again. The mindset of a champion, and clearly people who disagree with this have never met a real fucking champion. A champion will do whatever the fuck it takes to win. There are no limits. He's going to win. Period. Through any and every means at his disposal. It won't be just through cheating. It's going to be literally every means at his disposal. He will find a way to win. He might have to work harder. He might have to use more drugs and cheat more. He might have to find a newer training strategy. He might have to hire better coaches. But he will find a way to win at any cost. That is the mindset of a champion. It's not a healthy mindset. And that's something people need to understand there. We respect these people. We respect champions. But at the end of the day, you have to remember, champions oftentimes become champions even to their own detriment because they're willing to sacrifice anything and everything to win. And while a lot of times we'll see that as a positive thing because they're so driven, you have to understand how self-destructive that mindset can be also. It doesn't work as a purely balanced thing. These are not people who are well balanced, who are willing to become champions. But at the end of the day, this idea that champions aren't all cheating, that they're not all going to do whatever it takes to win, it only comes from people who have clearly never really been around champions. I can tell people who think that way have never known any, because real champions will do anything to win. And this is exactly what you see George Leeman talking about. And I'm glad somebody else out here is actually coming out and saying it. And that we have somebody actually saying, hey, no, this is what's going on. The drug testing is a joke. It is literally a joke. And people laugh about it. People who beat the drug testing sit around laughing about it because we all know it's a joke. And he's not the only champion doing it. Everybody who's winning is doing it. But ultimately, this is, again, George Leeman admitting to this. This isn't Jason Blaha this time. And so now people have to decide, well, is George Leeman just saying this because he's a jealous hater? Or is he just speaking the truth? And that's the interesting thing. You know, whenever I've been saying this for years and years, and I don't mean it out of jealousy, I don't mean it out of hatred, I'm just calling it like I've seen it from watching this for 2 decades. And knowing champions and watching people beat drug tests and helping athletes beat drug tests. Everybody's on drugs. They have been my entire lifetime. They have been your entire lifetime. That's just the real world. I'm not saying it to be a hater, to be jealous. I'm not saying it because there are people who beat me or who are better than me. There's nothing to do with it. It's not personal. It's just an observation of life and losing basic logic and common sense. You look at how easy it is to beat the drug test. So now I've got to wonder, when George Leeman says it, are people going to call him a jealous hater now, even though he's saying the same thing I've been saying? Is he a jealous hater, or is he just speaking the truth? What happens one day when you have some natural world champion or something come up and say the same thing? Is he going to be a jealous hater? It's always weird how people are. You know, you give them knowledge and information, and sometimes they want to attack the messenger without realizing that messenger actually is just telling you the truth. And then when other people finally come out and say, no, it's true, it's true. He's not making it up. He's not being jealous, not being a hater. It's the truth. Well, now you got George Leeman saying this in the community. So it's not just me saying it. So make of that what you will. But if you're still caught up in this whole drinking the Kool-Aid of the IPF or natural bodybuilding or anything else, and you really think your champions are clean, even your heroes like Lane Norton, Alberto Nunez, any of these guys, you really still believe that, then I tell you what, you have a right to believe what you want. I'm not going to tell you what to believe. But if you do believe that, I have some oceanfront property in Arizona for sale at a really good deal that I'd like to sell you. You sound like a very intelligent person who knows a good deal when they hear it. So talk to me. We can do some business. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.